Good morning, everybody. My name is Inga Cotton, and this is Charter Moms Chats. And I'm doing these videos on weekdays to help families make the best of pandemic parenting. As you know, we talked about remote learning for a while, and now it's summer, and we're trying to find ways to keep our kids busy and learning. And so we're introducing a different activity each day. And today we're going to talk about how to have a book swap, to get rid of old books, get new books while practicing social distancing. And we have, as a guest, we have Carly Friedman and her daughter Miriam, and they did a book swap and they wrote a blog post about it that's going to be up on the site soon. I'll update the description with a link to the post. But first, I want to tell you about Carly and Miriam. Carly is a pre-health professions advisor at St. Mary's University. She is an avid reader, and she updates Goodreads probably more than anyone else I know. So connecting with Carly on Goodreads is a very smart idea. You will get lots of inspiration. Let's see, Miriam just finished third grade. Congratulations. She's going into fourth grade. She loves reading and riding her bike, and she and her brother Sam have been known to crash Carly's Zoom calls sometimes, but this time Miriam was invited because she was an active participant in the book swap. So yeah. So, well, Miriam, how did you feel about doing the book swap? What did you like about it?
It was fun. I liked that people got to get books and actually see people, but still stay safe and get new books. I love books.
Yeah, I know. Carly told me that the book swap day was it's been one of the best days. While we've been having to kind of, socially isolate. That it was really a highlight to be able to see people. Yeah. Okay. Well, tell me. Okay, so one reason why I wanted to have a post about book swap is that it supports reading, and reading is so important to learning. So I wanted to tell me about how reading is important to your family, and especially in the summer.
Yeah, so I think reading is so incredibly important. Kids can learn so much from reading, not just vocabulary, sentence structure, plot, all of that, but also, we can read books about anything and learn about that topic. So one of our favorite books was Fever 1793, where we learned about yellow fever and the history of that, and, historical fiction. It's a really great way to learn about a different time or place or group of people or topic. Plus, studies have shown that reading fiction increases kids' empathy, level of sympathy, ability to understand and communicate with other people, which right now is so very important. So there's the learning aspect of it, but also it keeps them quiet. So we have literally at least one box of books in every single room in the house except for the bathrooms. And so my son Sam is 4, and does he ever stop making noise? No, constant noise, unless he has a book in front of him. And he will sit there, my super active 4-year-old, and look through a long book and keep him quiet for a long period of time, which is really nice when you're with them 24/7 for several weeks at a time. And then, when I have a Zoom meeting or have to get work done, just sitting them down with a big stack of books. I know they're learning. I don't feel too guilty for not being active with them, and they're happy. So lots of practical reasons that I think reading is really important during this time.
Yeah, that's really a win-win. They're learning, and we can keep working.
Yes.
Yeah. So, well, specifically about the book swap. So, how did your kids get involved with it? What kind of preparations did you all do for the book swap?
Yeah, so it really developed as a family idea. Another reason we really enjoy reading is it's a real bonding activity. So we read to them every night before bed. We read all during the day with them. And one time when we were reading, I was like, we have gone through every book we own at this point. What do you think about a book swap so that we can get some new books? And so it really developed as a family idea. And then, Miriam, what did you do to help?
I I made this shirt. It's like
Oh
James and the Giant Peach, the cover, and
yeah,
then
that's
the
really cool.
back is the same.
Yeah, she spent a long time that morning making a shirt, and there's a picture that we'll show later. What did you do before the day of the book swap?
I picked books that I didn't want anymore.
So that was fun, clearing out the bookshelf, kind of going through, reliving some of the great books that we've read that we were ready to pass on to other people. And especially with my son Sam, there were a few books that he's like, I'm done with this book. I'm like, I've read that to you every day for 6 months when you were 2.5, and I am not ready to give it up. And so I snuck a few back into his bookshelf. I will totally admit that, but it was that part even was fun. And again, it gave us something to do. And then going through my own bookshelf and clearing out and being like, oh, I love this book. I can't wait to give it to someone else who will love it, was really fun. So we cleared out the bookshelf. What else did you do to help?
I set up boxes and the day of the book swap, and I also, when people started coming, I put books in the right box.
Yeah, she helped me set up, so putting them to work with manual labor. She also helped making signs for the book swap, and actually the day of with sidewalk chalk, they wrote on our sidewalk, I talked in the blog post about making signs. That's another way kids can use their artistic skills, get out the cardboard and the markers. I use Canva a lot to make flyers, and seriously, it took 5 minutes for me to make the flyer that I posted on Facebook and Nextdoor and all of that. And honestly, for ages 8 or 9 and up, put them in front of the computer and have them make a PDF or use Canva to make an online flyer. They can learn a new technical skill as well.
Yeah, Canva is so rewarding because like it so quickly gets you to something that you're like, oh,
look
nice.
at me! I have design
like really quick
skills.
gratification. Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, so making signs, putting out boxes. You helped as people came by. You helped recommend books. So that was maybe the most fun part of it, was having new people that I didn't know come in and get to talk books with someone new. And there were several instances in which kids would come in and parents would be like, well, he doesn't really like to read. I'm like, tell me, what is he into? Well, he's into cars and dinosaurs. And I'd get this big stack of books, and the kids' eyes would light up, and the parent would be like, oh, okay, I'll take some books. And oh, that was really rewarding. Wasn't that fun? And because she had helped put the books into the boxes, she knew, oh, there's a Mickey Mouse book that's perfect for him in this box. So she was a big help in that way.
And like some neighbors brought books ahead of time, right?
Yes. And that was a huge help. So I highly recommend having the flyers ahead of time, having people drop off the books ahead of time, because then you know how many boxes you need, how many tables you need, how, kind of have an idea of what you're dealing with. Because if you have people come the day of with 4 huge bags of books and you're trying to put it out, so I definitely highly recommend having people come by, drop off the books ahead of time. And people overwhelmingly seem to prefer that, like, get this out of my house now, type of thing. I also recommend having more boxes than you think you will need and more tables than you think you will need. Because the day of, I had to call my parents, emergency table need, bring over another table. Yeah, because I wanted the tables really spread out for social distancing reasons.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then when we showed the pictures, you can see how spread out they are. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, good. And then Oh yeah, well, tell me more about the social distancing at the event, right? So you spread out the tables, and like I remember, I dropped off books, and then yeah, and people were, I wore my mask, and yeah.
Yeah, so I said on the flyer that only one family could come in at a time. And so, I also put in there that people had to wear masks, gloves were encouraged. And there was only one time that I had to ask people to wait um, uh, because there were already a big family and another big family wanted to come in. I was, no, no. And they were very nice about it. And there was only one time that someone, I don't think they were aware of it ahead of time. They were just walking around the neighborhood, wanted to come in without a mask. And I had to ask them to go home and get a mask and come back. And they did. Um, but that was, yeah. And then I spread out the tables quite a bit. I had one table for the kids stuff, one table for adult fiction, one table for adult nonfiction, because I was a librarian in a prior life, I think, and that gave me a lot of joy to organize them into certain groups. Um, and I think it worked really well. We had one thing of hand sanitizer if people wanted it, and overall, it went really well in that regard.
I think the fact that you had it outdoors,
Yes.
yeah, in your yard.
And it was a really nice day that day. The weather was great. So I know that might get more difficult as the summer goes on, but you can do it, earlier in the morning. If you're lucky enough, there wasn't a ton of shade in my front yard, but if you're lucky to have a shady yard, it will work. Um, you can, do it in the evening, but I think it is really important to do it outside. Plus, so many people are out walking their dog, riding their bikes, riding their scooters in the neighborhood that a lot of people would kind of walk by and see it. And then I'd see them come by again. And then they'd come like 2 hours later with a bag of books and didn't know this was going on, but here, have some books. And that was it was a great way to meet neighbors, meet people we didn't know. There is one family that lives a couple of blocks from us that we pass their little free library all the time. And so got to meet them and bond with them and like them on Goodreads and talk about, we were book soulmates. So that was such a great way to meet neighbors and new people.
That's cool. And were there some books left over for the book swap?
There were there books left over? Yes, there were books left over. At the end, I was like, well, the entire time I was shoving books in people's hands, like really, it was like I was selling the books. Of, tell me what you like, tell me what you've read recently. Oh, you're gonna love this, and you have to read that, and and then at the end, it was like, you need this bag of books. But yes, we have some left over. We are going to donate it to SA Reads, which is a fantastic organization. Just adore them. We have done book drives for them before. Fortunately, they're not accepting books right now. So right now they're in 3 big boxes of books are in the trunk of my car, just waiting for the phone call from them that I can drop them off. But they will be getting a big donation from that. I did also take a big box to that family that has a little free lending library. So they got a big stack of books to put there as well.
What did?
No, no.
Okay. So tell me more about this, and Miriam can help with this question too. How do you help kids find books that they enjoy reading? Like you mentioned, like asking like what subjects they're interested in and see if you find books related to that. And this is kind of like what you do on Goodreads, right? Is like you're looking at what other people are reading and adding ideas. But like, I mean, a book swap is a good setting to like get people talking about books and, giving them ideas and like literally like shoving the books in their hands, right?
Yes, and I love doing that so much. I love recommending books. So with adults, I ask them what they've read recently, what they like, and you can get an idea if they prefer fiction or nonfiction, whether they prefer kind of literary fiction or mysteries and romance, and it's all good. Everything is good. Um, so how do we help kids find books that they like?
I asked them what they like, and What, for example, if they like dinosaurs, like you said, I would find books about dinosaurs that they might like. And
And you also have to be aware of their reading level with kids, and so it's important to be able to gauge that as well. So clearly a different book about dinosaurs for a 3-year-old than a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old. And not every child of the same age is at the same reading level. And that's an important thing to keep in mind. And I think you probably deal with this as well. Miriam's reading level is super high, but she's still 9. I almost said 8. She's still 9, so she can. She's able to read, YA middle grade books, but sometimes the content isn't what I want her exposed to yet. And so with, I love that look. I know I've let you read quite a few things, but and so that's another thing that's really important to consider with kids who are 8 or 9 or 10 that are excellent readers. You still need to be aware of what they're reading. Often, thankfully, I love YA. A good young adult novel can be such a treat. And there's so many good ones right now, so many good ones. And so, listeners, if you want any suggestions when it goes live, just ask in the comments, and I will gladly give you a long list. So I
Is it
will
okay
read.
if I put your Goodreads link in the description?
Absolutely, please.
I'll do that. Yeah.
And so I will often read a book before giving it to her, and then we can talk about it and bond over it. And it, it may take me just a day or two, and then she can work her way through it, and it can lead to really great discussions and really, really great learning experiences, and it's so fun. And yeah, so. But I think it's also important to, yes, consider what kids are interested in, but also push their boundaries a little bit. So if just because a child's really into dinosaurs doesn't mean that he or she might not also appreciate a historical fiction about an exciting period of time. And so I think it's good to intermingle things that they know that they're interested in, but also new topics and ideas as well.
Yeah. Hey, should we switch to the slideshow
Sure.
part of the? Okay, great. Let me. All right. So what we've got is a screen share, and let me move my cursor over so I can advance the slide. Okay. So yeah. So yeah.
I
Go ahead.
definitely recommend having boxes for the books. That allowed me to show the spines more. And then I could put similar books. Oh God, I'm such a nerd. Similar books in the same boxes. So I had a box of like mysteries and thrillers, and a box of literary fiction and stuff. And then with the nonfiction, I had I linked the similar topics together in the same box. So you can see I reused some boxes there, but lots of boxes was really helpful.
Here's the good view of the shirt.
Yes, the shirt that Miriam made. I thought that was so. She didn't tell me she was doing that, but she spent a couple hours that morning in her room with a box of markers, and I was a little suspicious, but I was like, whatever, you're busy. And she came out with this shirt that she made based on the cover of James and the Giant Peach. So very cool. I think she was jealous because I have 3 reading related t-shirts. And she didn't have one, so now she does.
What do your shirts say? I think wait, was it you have the one that says the book was better?
I have one that says the book is better. One that says
nerd.
Book nerd, yeah, with glasses. And one that says bibliophobia. Thank you. Bibliophobia, the fear of running out of books, which is very apt for me. Yeah.
That would be bad. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So this is a picture of Miriam and her friend, wearing masks, looking through the boxes at the kids' table.
This is how they're spread out.
Yeah, so we are very, very blessed to have a big front yard. This was in the morning, so we get shade in the morning. And yes, it was very spread out. I wanted the kids away from the adult books because I knew we might have some older adults who I did not want near kids because I know that can be an important thing. But yeah, so very spread out.
I see the chalk.
Yes. Yep. And then me with one of my book shirts. The book is better. And those were those near the end, and so you can see we still had lots of books left over. Yep.
Let me switch back to our heads. There we go. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it sounds like this was so much like a family activity, right? That everybody, like, I mean, Sam's not. We're not. But he was involved too, right? He was helping.
He was very involved.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also got into it, especially with the younger kids that would come in and say, we like Mickey Mouse, or we like Cars, or we like Disney princesses, or we like whatever topic. Because honestly, the books that were dropped off early, we had gone through many of them together, and so he knew also, oh, this one's really good, and it was so one of my, so I had lots of favorite parts of that day, but having old friends come by that we got to see, me making new friends, and it was such a magical day. It worked out so well that there, like I said, only one time that one family wanted to come in when another family is already there. But it was a pretty steady trickle somehow. Like people just knew to space out time-wise. And so we were busy most of the day, which is great. Gosh, being busy for once. And when people weren't by, my husband and I and the kids put some chairs on our front porch and sipped on iced coffee and read our books and talked. And then someone would come and I'd get to talk books for a few minutes and go back and sit down. It was really a nice, relaxing day. It was great.
That sounds wonderful. And I really appreciate how you wrote the blog post as a way to, like, the how-to, right? And then, I hope that lots of families, can like watch this video and read the blog post, and then they can have a book swap in their own neighborhood. And, they can have this, safe but social experience, and they can, celebrate reading, and you clean out your old books, you get a bunch of new books to read, right? So were there any like good finds, like from the like things you're really happy you got for your own family at the book swap?
Oh yes. The kids got a lot of I Survived books, which you really like. Sam got some really great. Do you want to get the Mickey Mouse, like the big thick ones? Show them real quick. You know which ones I'm talking about? The one that we read this morning. Sam got some good Disney kind of collection of stories, which is great because there's like 20 stories in one. So this is an example.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, these kinds of books. So that was really great. I love nonfiction. I read at least half nonfiction, and oh my gosh, I got so many good nonfiction books that I'm really excited about. I got Ruth Bader Ginsburg, My Words. I got Yale Needs Women, Catch and Kill. There's some other one. Anyway, yes, lots of really exciting books. And it was equally exciting to get those and put some of the books that I've read this year that I really enjoyed in the hands of someone else and say, oh, you've read this and this and this, but you haven't read this one. Oh, you're going to love it. And so that was equally rewarding and exciting.
Yeah. And this is all free, right? I mean, that's amazing. Yeah.
A day of fun, of getting to interact with old friends, meeting new friends, spreading the love of books. Maybe there's one kid that went home that day with more books in their house and really enjoyed it, and just that thought is really wonderful. And it was all free, and every bit of it, from the prep to even the cleanup, was fun for me.
I love hearing about this experience. I love seeing, hearing Miriam talk about it too, and like, how she was a part of it. And yeah, I hope people don't feel intimidated. I hope they feel like they're like, I can do that too. And then there you go. Right?
We did a lot of work for this book swap, but that's because that's my happy place, planning and talking books and all of that. But it does not need to be this big of an ordeal. It can be half a day. You can start planning just a week ahead of time, and it can be much smaller and still be very rewarding. But there's one rule: you have to invite me. If you have a book swap, that's the only rule. Other than that, sell, if it's too hot, sell bottled water to raise money for an organization, or there's lots of creative ways to make it really rewarding and tailored to your family.
Yeah. Well, this is great. We have multiple posts planned over for June and July about reading, and coming at it from different angles. Like, so a friend of mine working a post about the library, which libraries have been closed since March, but they're going to reopen soon.
Yeah,
I know, right?
I'm counting the hours.
It.
I got online today and put a bunch of books on hold. I was like, I've been dying to read this, and the audiobook's not available, so yeah, I can't wait for June 16th.
Yeah, but I mean, even after the libraries open, we should still be doing book swaps, because it just keeps things circulating, keeps the conversations, getting to talk about books, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Cool. Okay, well, Miriam,
go ahead.
I wonder if Miriam had any kind of closing thoughts about book swaps or reading or summer.
Do you have any final thoughts about reading during the summer or book swaps?
Advice for kids?
Have fun. If you want to do more and you've already done a book swap, you can maybe set a reading goal for yourself.
Have an online book club. You can, with kids or adults. That's something that I'm doing that for. I lead 2 book clubs, one online and one usually in person, but we've moved to Zoom calls, and they work really well. So that, I think doing that for kids would be so much fun, to have them read a book a month and talk about it together. If you could recommend one book to kids your age, what would it be?
Many Worlds of Albie Bright.
Many Worlds of Albie Bright. I thought you might say Magic Mystics.
Oh, that is really good too. It's one of my favorite series. It is my favorite series.
So, anyway.
Okay. Well, I'll add those. I'll get the full titles for you and add those to the descriptions, so I can keep sharing the book ideas. So, yeah. Okay. Well, great. Well, yeah, Carly, do you have any closing thoughts? Any encouragement for? I think the online book club idea is a great one. And I guess our family, we've been reading World War Z together. Now my kids are older. I have 10-year-old and 12-year-old. So yes, it's about zombies, but it's also about geopolitics and corruption. And there's so much stuff that Max Brooks forecast about fake remedies, and we'll read that section, and I'll show my kids in the news, state attorney general prosecuting fake people promoting fake remedies, and we're like, that's in the book and in real life. I think it gets the thoughts going. So yeah, so that's our family book club. But
yeah, so online book club. With everything going on right now, there's so many lists going around about good books by authors of color that can, for everything from children to teenagers, young adult to adults. Look into that. That's a great thing. But also, don't think that you have to read anything you don't want to read. So
Yeah.
I have been this summer, I'll read a good nonfiction that I really love that's kind of heavy, and then I'll read something like Beach Read, or Evie Drake Starts Over, or The Southern Lady's Guide to Slaying Vampires, which is such a fun book. Oh my gosh. And so if you need something light, if you need a romantic romance book or a silly thriller mystery, read what you like, um, and that's a good way to be able to read more.
Yeah. Just agree.
Two, actually.
Okay, 2 more books and then we gotta go.
Okay.
Bud Not Buddy is a good one.
Bud Not Buddy by Christopher something. Anyway, Curtis.
And I also liked Lost Children of the Far Islands. I read it with my dad. It was really good.
So Bud Not Buddy is a great historical fiction. Christopher Curtis, I think, is the author. I recommend everything by him. But, kind of more serious book, and then Lost
Children
of the Far Isle. Fun,
Islands.
yes, fun kind of fantasy type book. And again, mix it up.
Yeah. Well, that's great. This is lots of inspiration. Lots of inspiration for people to enjoy reading, and I think the book swap project sounds great. I hope lots of people do book swaps, and please tag SA Turner Moms, but then also like Carly said, you have to invite Carly to your book swap, right? Okay, well, this has been great. We're gonna close off the video, and thank you so much. I'll update the description with the blog post as soon as it goes live. So
wonderful. Thank you so much for giving us a chance to talk books some more.
Yeah, it's always a good time to talk books.
Yes.